Welcome back to another edition of the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today you're going to be listening to an audio interview which was conducted in 1999 with the vocalist D.C. Cooper. Now D.C. Cooper is known for his work with Royal Hunt and also Silent Force, amongst other projects. So please check it out, hope you enjoy it, and please share on social media sites. Thanks for watching, stay metal, thanks for watching Metalheads.
Hi DC, how you doing, man?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Hey, first of all, I'd like to ask you, say to you, congratulations on a great new album.
Thank you very much.
Very strong, powerful album.
Great.
First questions are a few warm-up questions. First of all, could you tell me how you became the vocalist in Royal Hunt, and what band was you in before Royal Hunt?
Well, I was with a Pittsburgh-based band before. It was a band that I had started called the Tung Bandits, T-U-N-G. Short for Tungsten Steel. We were like the heavy metal gods. You're heavy metal bandits of Pittsburgh, you know.
Oh yeah.
And we had a really good shot. And we were actually recording the second album whenever I got the offer to audition for Judas Priest.
That's one of my questions I'm going to ask you later.
Yeah.
Actually.
So that all kind of falls into place. You know, I got the audition with Priest, which was a high point of my career. It was an absolute. You know, it was a complete honor for me, you know. I had studied Rob's voice and their music and just was into the power metal thing for, you know, ever since I was a young kid. And it was Rob Halford who had given me the, I guess, the suggestion to take opera training. So it was his suggestion that actually got me started into a much, much deeper vein than I was in at the time. So I took almost 6 years of opera, and lo and behold, a couple years after that, I ended up being, getting an audition for Priest. So
have you met Rob Halford before then?
Yes, I had not quite a few times, but a few times. I'm pretty sure that he had listened to material that I had given him and everything, and he knew I wasn't some kind of just psycho kid wannabe rock and roll fan, you know.
Right.
Maybe he sensed something that that he could see was serious. I'm not sure, but he had suggested to me after he heard the first Tung Bandits album to take some training. I was working with the highs and I was working with the lows, but there wasn't a lot of capacity there.
Bit of mid-range, you needed more mid-range.
And I still have little bitty problems with the mid-range here and there, but that's slowly. I'm slowly even working on that, even still today. You can tell in the new album.
Right.
But basically, getting back to the question. You have to excuse me, I have a summertime cold here.
I think I've started with one as well.
Yeah, whenever that happened, though, with Priest, it really, really opened up a lot of doors for me. I mean, we were working really hard. My management company in New York City at the time, we were working hard at getting the Tung Bandits a deal, and we just kept getting turned down, one right after another.
So what was it, power metal then?
Yeah, it was more power metal. I found a couple bootlegs floating around.
I'd like to hear it if you can copy me or something.
Well, I have one of the only original versions, and I'm trying to think of possibly releasing it, but that's going to be a while. I want to kind of maybe. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but there was actually, it was a couple pretty good tunes there, and
what was it like?
It was hard metal. It was very hard metal, but still with my voice, it was melodic. I like background harmonies. Did lots of harmonies, and I had we were three-piece with vocals, so those guys were very advanced. Like with my guitarist, he was really excellent. He delivered pizzas for a living, so whenever he wasn't delivering pizzas, he sat there and he practiced for hours and hours and hours and hours, and he was the closest to Randy Rhoads style that I had ever seen, and the bass player, everybody was really good, and we were true friends. We were best of friends.
So do you ever think you might get asked to play a Wacken as a reunion?
Oh, that would be... Well, I couldn't... I wouldn't... Our friendships went different ways. Unfortunately, we were best friends. We did everything together for almost 6 years. And, whenever the Judas Priest thing had come through, they were like, yeah, sure, go ahead, and in their mind, they're thinking, hey, whatever will help us get our album out, which I was thinking the same. But then I started getting a lot of recognition and I started getting phone calls from different management companies and a couple labels, and, hey, would you be interested in this? And I was, like, completely blown away. And at that point in time, whenever I discussed it with my manager to kind of look elsewhere, start looking into the European community and market, and that's exactly what I did. So Royal Hunt had popped up, and I went ahead and jumped on it.
Right, so just getting back to the first album, I mean, is there any chance we could get like a trade, like if you can copy me the album onto like a CD and I'll send you some magazines or something?
No, I kind of doubt that.
It's a shame.
I'm sorry, I wish I could. I'm trying to figure out how to remaster it and get some balls into it, you know. Someday I'll be able to. Every once in a while, it's been a long time since I've popped it in to listen to it, but every once in a while just to remember where the hell I come from, you know.
Yeah.
I listen to it, you know. But, you know, with seeing Nirvana and Green Day and all those bands take over, I couldn't trust the American market anymore. And I could see what was happening in Europe, and, you know, the pick came from Royal Hunt. They liked me, I liked them. I flew over. Day after Christmas in '94, did 12 rehearsals, and 3 days after that was in front of about 5,000 people in Japan. So I was replacing their old singer, and so I was doing all written material, nothing that I had been on before. And we had a successful tour and a U.S. tour and a small U.S. tour. And then we went into the studio and started working on the next, the thing with vocals for me, a maxi single with Far Away. So that's, sorry, I have long answers.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
That's cool.
If they get too long, just tell me, hey, shut up, the guy never stops talking.
Alright, DC, next question is, so, who are your influences, your musical influences? I mean, obviously Rob Halford must be the biggest one. To me, he's my idol, is like the metal messiah.
Yeah.
I'm actually interviewing Rob Halford next week.
Really?
Is there anything you want me to say to him?
Yeah, tell him I said hello, and he's coming to Pittsburgh with Iron Maiden, and I would...
Entombed, I think.
And I need a pass.
I'll ask him when he calls me.
Yeah, because Maiden was just out on tour. Costa Zafiriou, my drummer for the solo album, and Dennis Ward, my producer, they're going to be here in Pittsburgh visiting me. Actually, we're going to be working in my studio downstairs on my new solo album. So they're going to be here, and I'm going to take them to the concert. And, yeah, we're just looking to... I'm just kidding. We're just looking to go to the concert, and maybe if we get back to hang out and see some people we all know.
Right.
But,
so besides Rob Halford, who else do you have as vocal influences? And do they reflect in your singing?
Robert Plant, Jeff Tate, Aaron Neville.
Who's Aaron Neville with?
Aaron Neville is, he's with a band called the Neville Brothers. It's very Cajun-style music.
Right.
He's very, very folk. He's got a real high-pitched voice. It's kind of odd. It's not in the rock genre much. I have a wide selection. I'm a big fan of James Taylor, big fan of Don Henley. In fact, I just picked up the new Don Henley yesterday. It's fantastic. You know, I like some of the laid-back, mellow stuff, but whenever it comes to performing live and getting their sparks fired up, you know, I like the kind of stuff that we wrote, you know, that we did for Silent Forest.
Right, yeah, right. So is that the only thing that you have? Okay, my next question is, why did you leave Royal Hunt?
Well, let's see, the politically correct way of saying it is I was dismissed, Andre Anderson, but the simple way of saying it is I got fired. So that was a rough day, but in a way I kind of was pushing for it. What we were doing, I have to make this clear first. You know, everybody and anybody can blame me if they want. It's fine. I've taken a lot of criticism. But we were renegotiating my contract. My contract was up.
Was you like, what's the word, a guest sort of vocalist?
No, I was...
Session singer, should I say?
No, I was... Well, actually, yeah. Through rumors it come out that I wanted to become a session singer. Right. Which that is partially true. And they looked at me and laughed and said, oh, that's funny. But it really didn't matter because, in my eyes, Royal Hunt is Andre Anderson's solo band, period. He writes the material, he writes the lyrics. So I knew that going in, and I accepted it. So whenever it was time to negotiate my new contract, we were negotiating new terms, and of course new figures. And there's not a lot of fairness, equality with politics in the band. Whether it's financial decisions or tour decisions, it's all made by Andre. It's all of it, everything, writing, everything. So I got a taste of the solo life and working with other musicians. And, my biggest point is this is a business. This is a career. A lot of fans don't like to hear that. They like to hear that we're sleeping in vans eating cans of cold beans or something like that, To them, that's rock and roll, But this is a career. This is, and people, when you're in a career, you always want to advance. And, I just want to make things better. And I was just trying to protect myself because I had been unprotected for a while. And we were negotiating. We were very close to the end, and then just out of the clear blue, I got a phone call on a Saturday morning from a friend of mine, and he says, "Hey, you better go check the internet." And they fired me over the internet. They didn't even call me.
Really?
Yeah. So that's one I'll never understand. Being with them for almost 6 years and not at least getting a phone call first before you post it was kind of upsetting. That made it a bad day. I kind of anticipated, but we were getting really close. We were close for me to do album. I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep my solo and also stay in Royal Hunt, which I think it would have been an advantage for everybody.
Yeah, right.
But they decided to do it. So, they have their reasons, and like I said before, if everybody wants to blame me, that's fine. I'll take the blame.
Are you still friends? That is that a stupid question to ask?
No, we're not. We don't talk at all. The person I miss the most, I was great friends with Steen. I miss Steen so much, and sometimes I can get choked up about it because him and I were really good friends. And it started out as a very strange situation. We had to start out as business partners, then learn how to become friends, and it was very hard. It was a very difficult process. So, it was the business first. So then, whenever I started saying, "Okay, we need to talk business," then everybody said, "Hey, this is a family,"
Yeah.
No, it's not a family. This is a business situation. So anyhow, that's pretty much all I say on it. And it's just the past. It's past. It's over. And I'm so excited and I'm happy about Silent Force right now because I'm still able to do my solo band and write solo material. And now I have a new band together completely, and these guys are fantastic to work with. It's really a pleasure working with people that you enjoy.
Right. Are you? Does it pay then? Does it pay the bills being a singer in these bands, or do you still have to have a day job?
Oh no! It's paying now. Finally,
right.
Starting to work. It's starting to work to an advantage. I used to. Well, I still do. I'm a stained glass artist. I've been doing glass for years, and stained glass and custom designs is what kept my music alive for many, many years. Where I'd play on the weekends and stuff like that, and I'd work a job during the day. Well, now, whenever I'm on downtime, right now I'm building my studio for my vocals. I'm going to start recording here, so I can try to cut down some of my travel time to Germany and everything. I'd like to try to do a lot of my vocals here, and the sound system and the internet is just a wonderful thing.
Right.
So, and then also in the garage, I'm building a new stained glass window for the front of our house. So.
Cool. All right, next question then is, so which is your favourite and least favourite Royal Hunt CDs and why?
Can you hold on 1 second?
Hold on.
Thanks.
Hello, D.C.
Hey, sorry about that.
Okay, man. So the question was, which is your favourite and least favourite Royal Hunt CDs and why?
Well, I'd have to say my favorite's Paradox.
Right.
And
why is that your favourite?
Why? It's because I was able to throw a lot of emotion into that. And plus it caused a lot of controversy between Andre and I. I was singing some things and I changed some things on the lyrics that I absolutely don't believe in. I'm a Christian, he's an atheist, so
right.
The situation of religion always brings up a tough point with people. So
I don't really think religion and politics should come into music. I think it should just
but it does.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it does. And so I think that the two ideas are, his views and my views together. I think we pulled it off pretty good. That it raised a lot of questions. And if you are going to bring it up and discuss it, that's all it should do. That's all it should do is raise questions, not not start a fight, not start, controversy, stuff like that. You have to be very, very open, and I tried to teach that to Andre, and he doesn't understand it in a way because he's such a very strong person. If you would have heard some of the lyrics that were on there before, we would have had people banning us. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So
could have been a black metal band.
yeah, something like that, and we couldn't afford anything like that to happen. So, and I don't know, I guess my least favorite would be Land of Broken Hearts. I don't know, it just didn't seem like anything was really polished at that time for them, but it was a good first album, it was a good first effort for them.
Right, my next question is about Judas Priest. After leaving Royal Hunt, I had the audition for Judas Priest, which we already said a little bit about. How did it come about? How did you get the audition?
CMI, Hernando Courtwright from CMI in New York City is good friends with Jane Andrews.
I know Jane Anderson.
I'm sorry?
I know Jane Andrews.
Jane, yeah, and my name kept popping up, and he started sending my photos and videos and cassettes and things like that, and we just kept staying in touch with each other. If they wanted another video, I would cut them together some kind of live video, and if they wanted new pictures, I'd go get a new, photo shoot. But I was then already well underway whenever the decision was made, and, I probably would have stayed with Royal Hunt. I've met with K.K. Downing and Glenn Tipton since, this all happened, in fact, on the Jugulator tour.
Yeah, I know, I was actually in the studio when they recorded Jugulator.
Oh, yeah?
I waited to meet the band because my friend's Ripper Owens. I'm a good friend of Ripper's.
Really?
Because his old band put my name on their album, Winter's Burn. So, but I met him in the studio, and they were really nice guys. Ian Hill is such a fucking cool guy, man.
Yeah. Well, Tim, actually, I knew him before, and he knew me before, because he actually only lives about an hour and a half away. His home, mine's in Pittsburgh, and his home is near Cleveland. And
yeah, I've got his phone number and shit.
Yeah, so we didn't see each other for a long time, but as soon as I was in Japan on tour at the time, whenever I heard who they picked, and I'm like, Ripper, Tim. Oh, wow, now I know who it is. And I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Because he was in the Judas Priest tribute band, wasn't he?
Yeah.
British Steel or something they called them.
Yeah, they had opened up for my old band once. They had opened up for the Tongue Bandits at one point in time.
British Steel or Winter's Burn?
Yeah, and I can remember being backstage, and I thought it was somebody playing Priest through the PA system. I went out, and I'm like, holy fuck, wow, look at this guy sing, man.
I'm trying to get hold of that video because I keep in touch with the guitarist Lou at Winter's Burn.
Yeah, I think it was called, the place that we played was called Jerry's Roadhouse or something like that, where we had played I think that was the last time I had seen him. Once was at the Akron Agora, and but yeah, as soon as I heard who it was, I was real pleased. I'm like, yeah, that's going to be great for them.
So what did you think of Winter's Burn? Did you actually hear the album?
What's that?
Did you hear the Winter's Burn album?
Oh, sure.
Check out the thanks list, you'll see my name on it.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the album?
Oh, yeah, it's a good album. I haven't listened to it in a long, long time. I pick up.
Together.
What's that?
They're still together.
Are they really?
Yeah, Lou's got a new album coming out. They've got I think they're trying to get the singer from a band called Apocrypha. That will sound to Shrapnel.
Okay.
He's got a real Halford voice, really high.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I reckon they'll go pretty good with that. But okay,
yeah.
Next question is so what do you think? What did you think? After leaving Royal Hunt, prior to releasing your debut album, what did you do?
Question again?
After leaving Royal Hunt, what did you do before you released your solo album for Inside Out? What did you do in between that gap?
Well, actually, the solo album was happening in that gap before I was fired. In fact, I don't know. I was about halfway through the solo tour, and I was home for a couple weeks on holiday and see my family, and then that's whenever I found out I was fired. So, at the end of the '97 Paradox tour, Andre advised everybody that the band was going to take a break for at least a year to a year and a half, and I thought that was foolish. You can't take a break in this business. You can't sit on your ass and do nothing. So, and I wasn't about to sit around and wait for Andre to write the next album. So I went ahead and I did what I've always dreamed of doing. I got musicians that I'd always wanted to work with, Gunther, Tori, Koffel, and then Costa and Dennis came into the package as a great bonus. They
Dennis
felt.
Is the bass player in the Pink Cream.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant producer.
Oh, he's incredible. I mean, and he
will.
On the Silent Force album, he produced the vocals, and anything I ever do, he will be producing, at least as far as vocals are concerned. And I want to be part of his future because I think he's got a great career. And he's so busy now these days that I was kind of bitching at him yesterday because he's like, oh, I got this going on. I'm like, hey, listen, man, you still got to stay loyal to me, man. You got to, somehow, the people that you really started with. So he's like, I know. I'm like, don't take on any new bands until we get our schedules together for the solo album. So we agreed on that. But yeah, he's great. He's fantastic. He's coming up with some great stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is: so where did you find Van Plas, Pink Room 69, and Conception musicians for this solo album?
Tori and I had been friends for a couple years. We had met through Tommy Newton, and at first that's who I was going to have produce the solo album, but I decided not to because I got a hold of. I mean, my main players that I wanted was Alfred Koffel from Pink Cream, Tori Ostby, and Gunther Vernos. Those are the three guys that I mainly wanted. And then Costa Cesario, I mean, his drumming is so strong that he came into play, and he's also with the management company. So it turned out really nice. Then Dennis fell in. I think they're one of the strongest rhythm sections in rock and roll. They work great together, and they've been working together for 15 years.
Are they both in Pink Cream 69 then?
Yep. They're both in there. Right. So it just made for a really great situation, and then all of a sudden we were just like, well, how about Dennis? And I asked Dennis, do you want to produce this album? And he's like, yeah.
Right, because I know Tor from Conception.
I'm sorry?
I know Tor from Conception.
Mm-hmm.
I've known him many years. If you speak to him, just tell him Jason from Friday the 13th says hi.
Okay, I'll do that.
He's got a new band called Ark or something.
Oh, sure. That's
with
John. Yeah, that's with John and I forget the other guy. But
what's it like? Do you know what label it's on? Because I'd love to get a copy of it.
I like it. It's very musician's music. It's very, very musician's music. It's not very radio friendly.
Is it kind of typical Scandinavian metal?
No, not really. Not with John Macaluso in there. It's a little bit different.
Who's released it? Who's released the album? Do you know?
Mm-hmm. I know they were doing okay in France, and I think they got it released in Japan. I'm not sure what label, but he'll do okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I still want him to be part of my solo band, but we've kind of been out of touch with each other, especially since I've been working on Silent Force.
Right. Okay. My next question, DC, is: did the album sell well? And how would you describe this album from Royal Hunt material?
The solo album?
Yeah.
The solo album sold great, way more than we ever anticipated. Because of the controversy between me and Royal Hunt. We were all afraid about that, but I just have to thank everybody, all the fans and promoters and people, everybody in magazines and the press, they all supported me. They stuck beside me, and that's because they know I'm a straight shooter. I don't talk any bullshit on anybody, and
I reviewed it, give it a good write-off.
Like I said, this is a business, and I treat it, this is a machine that can eat you up, and you just have to be careful, and you have to remember the people who take care of you, because you have to take care of them someday.
Right.
And that's what I think really helps. I had people that stuck beside me and saying, it's okay, DC, don't worry about it. We're going to really push the solo album. And then, and then we had figured I'm going to get something new together. And then I got this new band with Silent Force together, so.
Right, so how do you compare the material to Royal Hunt then?
How do I compare the new Silent Force?
No, the solo album to Royal Hunt.
The solo? Okay. Do you have the Silent Force album?
Yeah, I've got them both, yeah.
Okay. Well, the solo album was much different because it had more guitars, obviously. Still had that taste of progression with the keyboards, but it was just more, it meant so much more to me because I wrote the lyrics, I had passion, I could feel it. Every word that I sang, every note that was recorded, I could feel the whole thing. For me, it's a very strong personal difference between the two bands. Sometimes I just think I was just a session frontman. I'm just the lead singer of Royal Hunt, and I feel bad that that's what it boiled down to. But in a sense, that's what it was, because they didn't miss a beat. They got themselves a new singer. I think this is their third singer, second drummer, second guitarist. So. But yeah, it meant much more to me. That was the big difference.
Okay, so
much more power.
All right then, DC. Next question is: so what songs stood out on your solo album for you?
What's my favorites?
Yeah, which ones stood out? Which ones were the favourite ones on your solo?
That's almost a tough one. Well, the Union is my absolute favorite because it kind of wraps the whole story for me up. And The Angel Comes is another one.
Right. This is on your solo album, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. I can't see those songs on here. Union, yeah, I can see the Union.
Yeah, the Union.
Yeah. Okay, next question is, so were you happy with the end results for the solo album?
Oh, yeah. I couldn't ask anything more. I think I even said it inside on the booklet, Everybody gave so much that I couldn't believe it, I mean, because whenever you're working with other musicians on a solo project or a project, some musicians tend not to give 100%, because they are with other bands, and that's where they should be putting their 100%. But these guys didn't do that. They gave everything that they had, and I couldn't ask for anything more out of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next question is, so why didn't you release the Silent Force album on Inside Out Records?
Why didn't I?
Yeah.
It's not quite suited, I don't think. And plus they weren't really interested. So, I have two separate companies, one for solo, which is fine because it keeps things separated and we have no gray areas. And Massacre is much better suited for the Silent Force album.
Are you going to be doing another solo album?
Yeah.
For
In fact,
Inside Out or somebody else?
It'll probably be on Inside Out. We haven't. We're going to be meeting in the next couple weeks, and I have material together. Dennis and Costa's flying over for August. We're going to work on it here in my studio that I'm building now. And we have one lined up. We just have to try to get some kind of schedule together because Silent Force will start touring sometime probably in October, and that'll take me through to December. So I'd imagine we'll start recording in January. Probably have hopefully a May-June release of next year for the solo album.
From the first one?
I don't know if it's going to differ all that much. It depends on the players. I don't have the commitments of everybody because it's so far away yet. It's not far away, but we're still in the beginning stages of the next album because I had to put all my time into Silent Force. So I don't know if it's going to differ too much. It is going to depend on the players. And so far, everybody's given me their, Gunther, Tori, and Koffel, they've all said yes. But I have no real commitment yet because of their careers. Everybody has their own career. So if I'm looking at a couple other guitarists just in case, and there's nobody I can say, and nobody I'm allowed to say actually right now.
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question is, so how did you team up with the Silent Force musicians? What bands were they in before Silent Force? Because I really don't know any of these people's names.
Well, Alex was with Primal Fear and Sinner. He had played in Sinner for 12 years.
Is this the second guitarist for Primal Fear?
Long
dark hair.
Yeah, long.
He knows who I am. Yeah.
Yeah, long black curly hair.
Right.
And he's a phenomenal guitar player. I just think he's great. And he'd been in the background for many, many years. I know Matt Sinner was good to him, and he had many good years, and he learned a lot of experience. But it was time for him to spread his wings and fly. So him and I got it together. I loved his guitar playing, and he wanted me for over a year and a half to sing on a couple of his songs. But he was with Primal Fear and Sinner, and then he had started Signet about a year and a half ago.
I heard of them.
Yeah, actually about 2 years ago, and that was about the same time I was recording a solo album, so I was too busy. And then we put our heads together, and we got the timing, and it was great because nobody knew anything. We've been working together since last September, and nobody knew anything until the album was finished. It was already done before we even made any kind of press release. So it was kind of cool. Everybody, it took a lot of pressure off of us. Our bass player, it's a different bass player that played on the album. So
all right.
we had to part ways with Fleisch. He has another career. He works for Continental Promotions, and the concert company in Germany. And he's a tour manager and everything, and we need somebody that we can depend on all the time. So we got Jürgen Steinmetz. He was with Headstone Epitaph.
Oh yeah, they're still together.
Yeah. Without, I think, Jürgen, as far as I know, he's still not in it. But he's about 27, 20.
Headstone albums, they're good albums.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Dennis produced that also.
Right, yeah.
And he's a real strong personality. I mean, he's a strong bass player. He's got a great voice. He was actually a godsend because whenever we realized we weren't going to be able to use Fleisch to his capacity, we were kind of worried. But then Jürgen popped up from nowhere, we took him into the studio, and he ripped through all the songs just like that.
Right. What about the rest of the lineup? You got Andre.
Andre Hilgers. He had worked with Alex on the Signet project, and he's 25 years old, and Toda Thorsten. His nickname's Toto, so it's easier for me to say Toda than Thorsten. He's 22 years old, and I mean, him and Andre both, they impressed the hell out of me. I normally wouldn't get involved with people this young in this style of music, but they love this style of music. And Andre Hilgers is one mean son of a bitch behind a drum set. I'll tell you, he plays some of the quads, and he's just really, he's a timing machine is what he is. I haven't heard anybody, and I know he doesn't have perfect timing, but he has a great ear, and he keeps everything in the groove, and him and Jürgen work well together. But Toda's one of my favorites, I think, out of the band, because I think this kid's got a big future ahead of him, and I would like to be part of it. I would like for someday for him to say, yeah, I'd like to thank D.C.Cooper and Alex Byrod for giving me my first shot in my first band, and him and Andre and Jürgen a little bit, they kind of have like real big eyes, like a kid in a candy store, because they haven't been screwed over by this business yet. And I really hope to protect them as much as possible.
So they still kind of like wet behind the ears.
Exactly, and they're kind of like, yeah, take me, but they're willing to give everything they got to go, and they've really shown some dedication to me, and I really appreciate it. And like I said, I think Toda, I think he's got a big future ahead of him, and like I said, I would like to be the start of it, and I'm going to do everything I can to get him into the spotlight, because he's one hell of a keyboard player for 22 years old. He kicks ass.
Right, so you're going to be using this lineup for the next Silent Force album?
Oh, definitely. This is a permanent band now.
Right.
This is definitely a permanent band.
Right. Okay. The next question is: so how did the deal with Massacre Records come about, and who else approached you?
A lot of hard work. I have to thank my management company for that, because between getting Massacre Records and then we got CMM for a promoter, you're talking about two of the best in Europe, and Jan Bayati from Bottom Row, my management company, he just worked and worked and worked and worked. He worked very hard until we come up with a good deal. And so far, I'm extremely excited. I think they're very pumped up about it, and they've done great promotion for us so far.
Right. So what other labels approached you besides Massacre?
Well, most all your European labels, and even, I can't say the name, but there was one other company that gave us a much bigger offer,
right,
as far as money is concerned, but the terms weren't right, and it wasn't. I don't think it was a proper. You don't always go with the money.
Yeah,
You have to go with a good deal, the business deal of the future. And that's where I could see it. It was in the future.
Right, okay. The next question is, so how would you describe the music on this CD compared to your old material?
Heavy. Much more aggressive. Can you hold on again?
Yeah, will do.
Thanks. Hello.
Hi, DC.
All right, thanks. Sorry about that.
No problem. Just tell them to fuck off.
What's that?
Just tell them to fuck off.
I got people coming in to help me get my studio wired up, and I got some new equipment coming in this afternoon. So
Right.
I'm getting real psyched about it, because I can finally work. I've been working on some real shitty kind of equipment downstairs, and it's not so. You don't feel as creative as whenever you can do many things. So.
Okay.
But let's see the question. Yeah.
The
It's-
music.
It's much more aggressive. It's the most aggressive music I've ever done, and you can hear it in my vocals too.
Right. Okay, my next question is, so why the name Silent Force, and why are there any other names?
Man, we went through 1,000 names. We had sheets and sheets and sheets of paper with names, good names, stupid names. It's just, the way we like to explain it is, that we were so quiet about this whole thing that nobody knew anything about it, that whenever we came out with it, everybody's like, wow, well, what's this? So it was very forceful, and, in silence there's power. So that's where we kind of come up with the name. It's not a real strong meaning, but it is to us. So, there in Force with force there is no silence. So, but we went through so many names, that it was hard. There's thousands of names all over the place, and it's hard to find one that's never been used before, and all that. So, it's the biggest thing to me is because it was so secretive. It was such a huge secret for everybody.
Right, okay, my next question is, could you describe the songs for me, what they're about?
Oh.
The beginning.
Well,
it's always good to get the singer on these questions, because when you ask guitarists today, I don't know, we don't write the songs.
Yeah. Well, writing the lyrics and everything, I can kind of, give you a rundown, but not to be rude, but I try not to do that.
Right.
My reasoning is I try not to explain too much of the story or the songs, because I want the reader, or I want the listener, to look at the book, and I want them to get their own opinion and their own reaction.
Well, I've got a problem with that, DC, because I've got a promo.
You got a promo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's basic, to give you a base rundown of the whole thing, I guess the concept of the album, which it's not a concept album, but it's called The Empire of the Future, and the future is now. We are living in the future, whether people know it or not. There's so many things that are happening that are so far advanced that the normal average Joe walking down the street has no idea that their governments are able to pinpoint them walking and count their steps from a satellite, miles above. So we kind of talk about, advanced warfare, advanced medical technology. They're cloning sheep now, and I know they're cloning people. They just haven't said anything yet. I don't think God intended that to happen. So, I'm trying to make people a little bit aware. There is one particular character in the story that kind of takes him through this process. And I guess the whole album just is to try to make everybody a little bit more aware of how far this world has come, And, they're able to put millions and millions of bits of information on the pin of a needle and replace human hearts and everything pretty soon. They're, like I said, they're going to be cloning bodies, and I don't think people really understand how far advanced it is, because this is the empire future that we are living in right now. And right now, I think this world is going to hell in a handbasket, and if people don't become more aware of what's happening soon, we're not going to have much of a world left. So
you got to be careful with the American government, because they really are fucked. They really do watch people, don't they? They really. Really
I mean, reconnaissance and strategy and everything like that. I mean, it's not just us. We were probably, the Americans might be more advanced, but, all over the world, secret intelligence is so important. And, and testing of this and that and everything and all kinds of stuff, the public don't, we don't know anything really that's going on. We only know what they're telling us and what they're showing us. Yeah, that's it. So, people need to kind of make sure they're a little bit more aware, because I want my children someday to be able to have a good life and not worry, and die of some ungodly nuclear death or something, But yeah, that's the base of it. I like I said, I try not to get into it too much. So if that helps you out a little bit, that's cool.
All right, cheers, DC. Next question is, what sort of press reaction are you getting for the album so far?
I'm sorry, question again?
What sort of press reaction are you getting so far for the new album?
Fantastic. I mean, absolutely fantastic.
I love it. I think it's a really good album.
Thank you.
It's really in your face. The production's excellent, and the songs are really strong.
It's been really great. Thank you.
Hey, welcome, man. Good luck to you, man. I hope the next album's just as good as, if not better.
I hope so. We got already some good material, and Alex will probably come on over to visit me at the end of August, and we're going to start working on some new material. And it's it's really, I guess in a way, I just been, like the past couple days, I've been spending some time by myself, and here at my new home and stuff. Actually, it's not new. It's a 120-year-old house, really big Grand Victorian, and so I've just been kind of sitting around and relaxing every once in a while and crack open a beer and say, yeah, I like life. Yeah. I really do. I enjoy life, and I've had some really, really, really hard times, some really bad times, and I had a near-death experience right before the solo album recording started, and
really, what happened?
I don't talk about that at all.
Okay.
Nobody knows, and really my family's not even involved in it. So, just
I'm
a
glad
few
you're
very.
alright, man.
I'm sorry.
So I'm glad you're okay now.
Well, I tell you what really did it for me was throwing myself into the work on the solo album. You know, that's why it means so much to me. Is because, and I speak of the angel. The angel saved my life. I believe in the afterlife, and I believe in somebody. I believe
in somebody watching over you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was in my local city where I live, and I had some fucking trendies giving me shit in town, and I felt like my nana was watching over me. Just, you know, I got out of the situation where I was getting beat up. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's where the angel comes from on the solo album, and now things have progressed even more and more. I enjoy the team of people. You know, Alex and my brother died years ago, and Alex is the closest person now that I have that I would ever consider to be like a brother to me, and that means a lot to me. So, you know, I'm pretty pleased right now. I just hope the success continues, and
can't get any worse, can it? Really?
You know,
Not now.
No, well, you have to. You know, that's one of the things that I learned whenever I was having a really bad time and had the near-death experiences. You have to pick your bottom. You know, whenever you say to yourself, "Oh man, fuck, it can't get any worse," it will. It absolutely will. It will get worse until you say to yourself, "That is it, man. It's not going to get any worse." You have to demand. You have to say it. You know, you can't say, "Oh my God, it can't. Oh, woe is me. Oh, you know." You can't be like that. You got to say, "Fuck it, that's it, man. It's not getting any worse than this." And you know, then the only way is up. So, you know, I just want to try to not make mistakes and try to keep things, you know. And I hope a year from now I feel the way I do right now today. So
how do you rehearse with the band then? I mean, you live in America and they live in Germany or whatever. I mean, how does the songs work? Does the guitarist Alex work on the structure, or do you actually have a guitar and learn it yourself, or?
We do a lot of stuff over through the mail, you know, sending DAT tapes and hard drive discs, and you know. But whenever we get together, I don't know. There's just a certain karma that we have together. You know, we're looking out for one goal, and it was very important for me to get a team of people together who was really serious. Because whenever I first met everybody in the band, the first thing I did was I look at them and I say, "Look, don't ever say these two words to me, because and those two words are trust me. This business, there is no room for those two words, trust me." And you know, because anything can happen at any point in time, and you know, I think I'm getting off of the question, but you know, I've been used to this for now 8 or 9 years of traveling abroad, and God, I have so many frequent flyer miles. I'm giving them away to people,
right.
And you know, it's you know, I have to fly somewhere to go do something. So now, since I'm trying to get the studio together downstairs, I'm hoping I can start bringing people over here, like hopefully doing all the vocals here, and you know, give everybody else a change too.
Yeah. All right, next question is, so when will you be touring with Santa Claus?
Well, it's up to the management company and promotion company. Right now, they're working on getting us out sometime in October. So, and go to October till December, and then hopefully finish up sometime in January in Japan, and then you know, start on with the next album. Well, then that'll be time for me to do the solo album. So
are you touring with on this tour?
I can't say yet.
Right.
It's going to be a good tour, though. We're going to be jumping around between 3 different tours, plus then we headline in Japan. That's the only place we can headline. But
do you have a big following in Japan where you've been a Royal Hunt and stuff?
Yeah.
A lot of mail from Japan.
I was voted #1 singer 2 years in a row there.
Good.
And I stayed in the top 10 ever since I joined Royal Hunt, and yeah, we have a great fan club and a great following. Alex and I was just there last week. We did a couple promotional shows, acoustic gigs, and the record stores that we did them in were absolutely packed. You couldn't. There was police there and everything just for us to play acoustic, and it was fantastic. And we did this one private, like 100 people invitation only, and we played that little acoustic gig and had tea with everybody and stuff like that. And then whenever we went to go downstairs to get into into the vehicles, into the van, we come downstairs and there was almost 500 or 600 people outside waiting just for pictures, and because they couldn't get in, you know. So yeah, we got a pretty good following over there, and I'm real pleased with them. You know, the Japanese fans have been very loyal, and they've stuck beside me through all this bullshit.
Right. So what does DC stand for then? What is your name, DC?
DC. D stands for Donald, and C stands for Christopher.
Right. I always wanted to ask you that, so I was kind of curious to know what it stands for.
Yeah. Christopher was my brother's name.
Right.
Donald was my given name, and Christopher was my brother's name, and I legally changed my name. I took his first name as my middle name, so, and then that's where DC was born, so.
All right, good. Okay, my next question is, so what do you think of John West's voice in Royal Hunt, and what do you think to the last Royal Hunt CD?
Well, honestly, I've only heard like 2 tracks, maybe once each, maybe twice, and it sounds just like Royal Hunt. It sounds very Royal Hunt.
What do you think of John West's voice?
John's got a great voice. I mean, I like his voice on Our Tension and everything.
Yeah, man, them albums are kick-ass. I know John West.
He's got a very strong voice, and high range, low range. He's got very bluesy, and yeah, I think he's got a great voice, and I wish him a lot of luck, you know, in the future. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Then, DC, I'd like to thank you for doing the interview.
Sure
Do you have
thing.
anything to say to the fans and the readers, and keep in touch?
Yeah, I just basically want to say thank you. I mean, thanks to everybody for all the support they've given me over the past so many years, and you know, I hope I've earned their respect, and you know, I'm gonna do everything I can to continue to make good music and make them happy. Okay, all right, man.
All right, man. You take care of yourself, and we'll keep in touch.
You too. Thanks
Cheers,
a lot,
DC.
buddy.